And away we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the July 7th Virtual Builder Town Hall. I'm Meredith Oliver, your intrepid host, and I am thrilled to be here today. Today, we are going to talk conversions, right? So most of you are seeing an absolute avalanche of traffic. And if you aren't, we need to have a separate conversation. But I'll show you what the numbers look like in just a minute. And because you're seeing so much traffic, both online and hopefully converting to appointments and traffic on site as well, you should also be generating record numbers of leads. And so now we have to say, where are the conversions? Because some of you I talk to are absolutely hitting it out of the park. Your sales numbers are crazy good. Others of you I talk to, you're struggling with sales. So this is where we need to even up the playing field, and that's what we're going to try to do today. So I've got this poll. I'm going to give it about 30 more seconds. If you have not voted in the poll, please do. I'd love to get the answers. Only about 56% of you have voted. It is anonymous. I cannot see what you have voted. So please, go ahead and feel free to get your vote in. I'm going to give you about 15 more seconds to do that, and then I'm going to hit end poll. All right, and while we do that, I'm going to tell my little helper. So when I go to hit this end poll, I want you to pick this up and I want you to zoom in over here, okay? All right, here we go. All right, so end poll, and now I am going to share the results. Woo! All right, so, okay, I'm getting a little bit of you in the video. You gotta stay out, there you go.
I thought you wanted to pan to your,
You got it. All right, so here we go. So exceeded, 46% of you exceeded, sweet. All right, met plus a few extra, 14%. Just barely met, but met 32%. And some of you smart, you know what's voted for my smart alecky answer. There were sales goals. What? Right. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing that. All right. So here's our agenda today. First up, I want to remind you next month's meeting is August the 4th. So it's always the first Tuesday at 4 o'clock. The link that you use today will work for next week. But if you lose the link, you can always re-register on the form and get a new link. But if you keep track of your link, you can use the same one every month. It is unique to you, however. So you're welcome to invite anybody in your organization that wants to attend, but every single one needs their own unique Zoom link to attend. A couple of months ago, I asked you guys if there was anybody that would be interested in helping me moderate the Facebook group. And several of you replied you would. Would you get back in touch with me, please? I need to get back on that, and I want to get several of you up and running and contributing to our group. So if you would get back in touch with me, I'm looking for builder representatives only. Sorry, all of our associate friends, but I'm looking for people who work for builders that want experience managing an online community and would be willing to help share content and moderate and work and make our Facebook group interesting and fun. So I would love to have that. All right, so let me share with you now. So what I want you to do, braids, is I want you to, without getting in the shot, I want you to zoom in on that screen right there. You ready? Yep. All right, so here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you guys. All right, and here is what we are looking at traffic-wise. Bam! What happened? All right, so when I said that you should be killing it on your website traffic right now, I wasn't kidding. So this is our benchmark report where we've got about 60 builder websites aggregated together. Now, certainly we monitor and host a lot more than that at Meredith Communications, but I only want to benchmark the ones that I feel are most similar enough together that they really warrant aggregating, right? So I don't want to just pull in random things that don't make sense. So these are 60 of the closest together: business model, market size, production volume, etc. So I just want you to see, here was January and February. where we were already at an all-time high. We were pretty excited about what we were seeing. I mean, it was a 10, 12-year high. Mid-March, COVID hit and pretty much tanked March. April started climbing out, and look at what May and June did. And if you come down even further, this is year over year. So this is what your year over year website traffic should look like. That's pretty strong. And as I continue down, and then I look specifically at conversions. All right, let's come down. Here we go. So look at what's been happening conversion wise. Look at this. All right, conversions, this would be counting all things digital lead. So this would be live chat. This would be phone calls from the website. This would be third-party leads. This would be email leads, anything digital that's coming in from the website that has not first been to a model home sales office, met with a model home, new home consultant. So this is all digital, and just look what has happened. So this is what really caused me to say, we need to talk about conversions today, right? And so that's where we are going to focus. So let me stop. I'm going to stop sharing this screen, come back to here. All right. I am going to launch another poll for you. All right. Here we go. My very first secret on the 5 secrets to maximizing your conversions, number 1 is this: know your numbers. Number 1, know your numbers. So if I were to ask you, whether you are a new home consultant, you're selling on site in a model home, do you know your personal numbers? Or if you're the sales manager, or if you're the marketing manager, or you're the OSC manager, whatever part of the business you're managing or you personally are working in, do you know your numbers? We can't focus on conversions without knowing the raw numbers. This is what's critical. Okay. Oh, Kevin is saying, preach on, preach on. Thanks, Kevin. All right. So what numbers are most important for us to track? So I'm going to launch my second poll. I don't think you realize this, but today's meeting is create the content with the audience, right? Crowdsource the content. I am going to launch this poll. These are the numbers that I think are the most important that you would be tracking, but I want to know what you think. All right, there's a bunch of them I've listed here. All right, so we're just going to do poll number 1 right now. But what I would like to know from you, and if you'd rather put it into chat or you'd rather put it into Q&A, whatever works best for you, but are you currently tracking website unique users, visitors, online leads? All right, here's one: OSC appointment set and kept. All right, now somebody chat me. Oh, there you go. All right, I didn't see any answers coming in, so I was starting to get worried. You can choose as many as you want, so you can vote for more than one, but what do you think are the most important that you're tracking every single month? That if I said to you, how many OSC appointments get set every month? And of those appointments, how many of them get kept? All right. So I'm interested to see what, and just stick to question 1 right now. All right. What do you think are the most important numbers to track? All right. So we've got a lot of people voting for online leads. That does not surprise me. I'm glad. Now remember, you can vote for more than 1. I don't mind that. So go ahead and vote for as many of these as you think makes sense. I've only got 13 out of 54%, so I need some more of you to get voting here. Remember, these are anonymous. I cannot see what you put in, so don't worry if you think you're going to put in something that will embarrass you or your company. I don't know who's voting for what. All right, so I'm going to just give you a couple of more minutes, and then I will end this poll. All right, submit button not working. Interesting. Okay, anybody else having that problem? The second question down here is, what numbers are you actually tracking? So it's kind of a twofer on the poll. What I'm wanting to know is what's important to track. And then number two, what are you actually tracking? So I guess you got to scan all the way down. Oh, and you have to submit at least 3 answers. Oh, thank you for telling me. All right. While you're doing that, I'm going to give one direction to my cameraman here. I'm going to do, okay, we'll just start again. Okay, all right, so here we go. 27, 28, okay, looking good, looking good. Couple more, I'm going to give you a couple more minutes, seconds really. All right, I'm going to hit end poll, and I'm going to move it now. I don't know if you guys know this, but you can move your poll out of the way. Now, here's what I find interesting, and the point that I really wanted to make, because it's kind of what I figured. A lot of you, looks like the majority of you, are launching online leads, like you are tracking online leads. But then look down to follow-up activities, both OSC and new home consultant. Knowing your numbers is knowing more than just the top of the funnel. So yes, you should be able to know the very top of your funnel in terms of how much is pouring in. But at this juncture, basically, it's an avalanche. Check, right? That's not our issue right now. So if you think of the buyer's journey and you think about it in 3 segments, okay? Whether you think of it in a funnel in 3 parts, or you think of it more linear in a journey in 3 parts, but we've got part 1 of the funnel, which is getting people in, getting them aware. Done, check. COVID pretty much handled that for us. Hello. Middle part of the funnel. So this is where we start to engage this traffic, right? So this is where our OSC lives. And I'm getting ready to show you how and why that's so important. Then, so that's the engagement, and that's where we're actually converting them into a conversation, which now happens in the 3rd section of our journey or our funnel. And in that conversation is where our OSC begins to converse, our new home consultants converse, we have virtual visits, or we do in-person visits. We do a variety of things to begin to have one-on-one conversations that by the end of the journey will hopefully lead to a purchase agreement. So as you sit here right now, which part of your funnel or journey needs work? That's your first takeaway from today. Which part is not performing as well as it could be? And the only way to answer that is secret number 1, know your numbers. There are numbers for every single part of this funnel, okay? So part 1, well, that's where we're looking at this, website unique visitors. That's top of the funnel. Right? That's where having a dashboard like the one that I was sharing with you right here means so much, because this is where, if you know what your 12-month trend line looks like on your visits, then you know exactly the strength and the power of the very top. All right. Then if you're paying attention here to online leads, that's your goal conversions, right? So you're going to do that through your CRM, through Lasso or whatever CRM you're using, or your Google Data Studio reports, okay? So that's going to help. Those 2 things are really the first third of the 3 parts, okay? Then I have to ask you, that's where these numbers, so your OSC comes into play, middle section, appointments set and kept, appointments kept to sale, OSC follow-up activity. So if we look at these 3, which 2 are the middle? This one, OSC appointments set and kept, as well as follow-up activities, but very few of you are tracking that, okay? That's where we know, is the middle part working? How many outbound phone calls were made? How many follow-up emails were sent? right? Now, the proof of those activities is in the appointment set and kept percentage. So if you want to manage on performance, that number will answer the activities. But if you have somebody not quite meeting that percentage, we're looking for 35% of your online leads from your website, not third party, from your website to convert into a set appointment. So if we're not hitting that number, why? Now we look at activities, right? So that's our middle part of our funnel. And then as we work our third of the way down, that's where we're looking at things like new home consultant appointment setting. Are you tracking that? They should be setting their own appointments. Are we reviewing that? Who has appointments set for this week? All right. One of the things that we are finding that is the secret to converting traffic right now is an appointment setup for your model homes. All right. We'll talk to Trey a little bit more about that later and see what they're doing at Old South that's helping them be so successful. But setting it by appointments. Now your models can be open depending on your location. And if, at this time, your locality or location, I'm tongue-tied, allows for, people to be interacting, that's very dependent on where you are. If it is, it can be open and you can have hours on your website, but your call to action on the website right now should be by appointment. By appointment. If you want to leave only off just to be semantically whatever, you could do that, but by appointment. So what are you doing every single week? What are the activities, the new home consultant follow-up activities, and then the appointment setting? So these are the types of numbers that if you have your eye on the ball, then you will know exactly what people are doing, what they're not doing, and you'll know where of the three parts of your funnel, which part needs some bolstering or training or further development. Okay, so what I would love to see now is I want you to go ahead and enter into your chat box, enter into the chat box, what are some of the other numbers that you feel are important to track? Maybe something that I did not include on this list that gives you insight into how your conversion funnel is working or not working. All right, so I'm going to give you a second. Go ahead. I want to see what are some of the things that you look at that's different from what I've listed here. Go ahead, light her up. All right, hey Breeds. Hang on one second while I talk to my cameraman while you guys put in some responses here. Ooh, I love that, Andy. Response times from web to OSC. I love that. All right, so I want you to do another round of panning. Make sure you don't get your finger in this time. You got it? Okay. All right, so here we go. Time on site and bounce rate. I love that. Yes, that will absolutely give you a window into the quality of the traffic that is coming into the website, which could speak to why your lead generation is either up, down, flat, etc. All right, number of missed chats. Oh, Jenny, that's a good one. Number of missed chats and the timing, love that. How long visitors spend on the site, Tina? Yes, absolutely. Again, that speaks to quality of your traffic. All right, Carlos shared conversions from web traffic and campaigns into actual lead registration. So yes, of course, your lead sources. Okay, Kevin, Outhouse Kevin, hey, it's got here greets, probes. I'm a little scared to know what that one is. Sit on, sit down, write up, sign deal. I love it. That's awesome. Thank you. Referral sources, number of pages viewed. Yeah. Okay. But is my non-Google digital advertising working? Yeah. Like, who knows? I'm kidding. We know. But here's the thing. You know what? Most of you guys just all chatted in again, were marketing numbers. Marketing numbers. What about the sales numbers? Okay, so just reviewing that really quick, like looking at my list, I'm sharing these poll results, right? So appointment setting, appointments kept to, appointments set to kept, kept to sale. Look, we've got some sales teams that frankly aren't converting the appointments the OSCs are setting up. And really, when I talk to our clients, minimum 30-40%, 3 or 4 out of every 10 OSC appointments should convert into a contract. And we have some that have really advanced OSC programs that are converting as high as 6 out of 10 OSC appointments to sale, right? We got to know that number, right? So that's our sales conversion number. So that's really what I want to make sure. I think most of us, because we've been doing a lot of work in our town halls and in our mastermind groups on getting better marketing numbers, but I don't know if we've got better sales numbers. All right. So that's going to lead me to conversion secret number 2, dose, which is manage for activities, not conversions. All right. So yes, we want to know our numbers cold to the point that I stop you in the hallway and I go, hey, Sally, what's your OSC appointment set kept to NHC contract percentage go? And you go 35%, bam, perfect. Like I want to know these so well that you could recite them upside down, backwards and forwards. But then I want you to let go of that data because we don't manage people on their conversions. Why? All right, so I want you to write into the chat box. Okay, here we go. Brady, this is a good opportunity for you to zoom in. Don't get yourself or me in it. Okay, you ready? I want you to write into the chat box, why do we not manage salespeople on conversions? Go ahead, chat me up. My fellow panelists, feel free to give an answer if you know the answer. Why do we not manage people on conversion data? Fear of holding them accountable. Well, maybe because they will start lying about traffic. Boom. Brooke has got the answer, right? They do need to be accountable. They do. A lot of room for error, yes. Okay, Brooke wins though, okay? Brooke, I'm gonna send you a letterboard here as a thank you prize for playing along and getting the right answer, because yes, that's exactly right. If we manage people on their conversion numbers, then what we're doing is saying, make the numbers look good and you'll be fine. But we can make numbers look any way we want. Yes? Yes. Every set of numbers can be presented to look any way we want. So if you want accurate traffic counts, stop managing your salespeople on their conversion rates and instead manage them on their activities. So again, I go back to, and Kerry and Angela, I'm sure and Trey even can speak more to this in the panel segment that's coming up. But what are the things we manage? We manage things like follow-up. We manage things like outbound phone call attempts. We manage things like emails sent, text messages sent. We are in that CRM and we are looking and we are rewarding and we are managing on activities every week. All right, I'm going to glance over behaviors. Yes, Kerry, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. I'm sure you will say it better later on. We want to measure the behaviors that create the results. That's right, Paul. That's exactly what we want to do. Bigger issue is they aren't using the CRM, which makes it hard to track conversions. Well, I'm going to get to that in just a minute, as a matter of fact, Sophia. So thank you for bringing that up because that's a huge problem. All right, so if number 1 of our 5 secrets is know your numbers, number 2 is manage for activities, not conversions. Number 3 is bulletproof your OSC program. Your OSC, I put them, when I was talking about the 3 segments of our conversion funnel, I put them in as segment number 2 because they are literally the linchpin to the entire thing working properly. Literally the linchpin. Your OSC has to be such a rock star, and so many of them are, and so many of you guys that are on the call or on the Zoom today are those rock star OSCs. But have you asked your OSC lately, what do you need to be even better? What tools are you missing? What equipment do you wish you had? What software do you need? What help could we get you? I mean, I would encourage you to literally invest and pump up and rockstar bulletproof out, like mac out your OSC program. I don't think you could invest too much in your OSC program. Do you need a second one? Maybe the first one's like dying. How would you know that? You would know the numbers because you'd look at response time. Response time answering a lead, response time answering a chat, the amount of ongoing follow-up. You would know if your OSC is overwhelmed simply by looking at response time. Back to number 1, knowing your numbers. What does your OSC, have you asked? If you've got a great OSC, ask them, how do we take this up? How do we bulletproof this program? If you've got a good one, have you documented all the processes? Have you put in writing everything that happens on a daily basis? So if that person leaves you, you can get another one up and running really quickly. Like, what do you need to do to shore up? If you think your OSC isn't performing, what do you need? Do they need training? Do they need more coaching? Do they need a CRM? Are they trying to do this thing with string Post-it notes and a little bit of Scotch tape? You know, what do they need to be successful? If they are hitting their numbers, what could you do to bulletproof it and make it even better? Because I am telling you the difference as I sit here and talk to, I don't even know how many of you guys every single day on Zoom, the difference in making sales right now is that middle section of the funnel. COVID, the pandemic, took care of section 1. I've never seen anything like, who knew a pandemic would drive as much interest in new homes as it has? Check, done. Middle section OSC, bulletproof it. Okay, I've worked with some of you personally. I will not name any names, but some of you that are on here right now who've taken the OSC program up a huge notch since all this started, and the sales are flying in. Bulletproof your OSC. That's number 3. Okay, number 4, Sophia, this one is for you. All right. You're welcome. All right, here we go, Sophia. Number 4, guess what it is? No exceptions. No exceptions. And I know Trey is going to talk about this in just a second when we get to his interview here, and I'm getting ready to bring him up in just a second. But no exceptions. What does that mean? That means that part of the behaviors that we manage on is CRM usage, adaptation, adoption. It must be done, and there are no exceptions. Now, obviously, this has to come from an owner level, a VP sales level backed up by the owner. I mean, without the very top support on this, you can't make it happen. But there are no exceptions to the usage adoption of the CRM. And so I know Trey's going to touch on this, so I'll move on from this one, but we cannot have, even if it's our top producer that's been with the company 30 years, who's awesome, but will not log in. That is not going to work in this environment when we want to maximize and know numbers, because our numbers are only as good, what? Garbage in, garbage out, right? It's only as good as our data. So we've got to have great data. And then number 5, and this is one that we're going to talk more about. I know Kerry's going to touch on this in the panel. I should say this, each of these things over the next couple of months, we will blow apart and go into more and more detail. but I wanted to give you all 5 today to get your mind thinking, because you don't really have to wait. You can't wait till we meet again on August 4th to start solving some of these things. You got to get going right now. So that's why I wanted to give you all 5, but we'll go more in depth on some of them in the coming months. All right. But number 5 is see the human. See the human. So yes, we are going to be a data-driven organization. We are going to have 100% compliance and usage of CRM. We are going to have a culture that is driven by good data so we can make good choices. And that is a culture that you have to instill and that you have to make a priority in your organization. But at the same time, we're not going to just manage people like their data. We're going to reward humans. We are going to coach humans. We are going to thank, be appreciative of, and sometimes let go for their good and yours, humans. And so it's this very fine line. And sometimes I find data-driven, numbers-driven organizations that have that side of it really well in hand, but they're really missing the other side of the equation, which is the human touch and the human element. All right, so Brady, if you'll get ready to do a little zoom in here, I'm gonna bring Trey up and let him talk to us. So while I work on that for just a second, all right, here we go. Ask to start video and unmute. While we're getting Trey up here, let me give everybody a little introduction with Trey. Hey, Trey, there you are. Can we hear you? Let's see if we can hear you.
Yes.
Perfect. Perfect.
Right.
Okay. So Trey, you are the Vice President of Sales and Marketing, or Sales?
Well, there's not supposed to be combined, but yes to both.
Okay. At Old South. Why don't you tell everybody who's listening just a little bit about Old South, kind of give them the rundown of where you build, what type of product, how many, etc.
We're an independent builder in the Nashville, Tennessee market, and we cover all the areas of the MSA. But we don't get out of the Nashville market. We've been very blessed to be here. We've been here since 1986. And ever since, I think, 2004, we've been on the top 100 builder ranking list, which is pretty good for a local independent.
Ah, it's fantastic. Yeah. About how many homes a year are you guys building, and how many communities-ish?
Right now, we have 19 active communities, and this year we will project to close over 900 homes.
Yeah, it's quite
more than what we planned.
So you guys are ahead of sales pace.
Absolutely. And our pendings right now are about 32% over this time last year. And one of the interesting things, and I know not everyone's in this situation, we're very blessed to be there.
Yeah.
But our original goal, we're 38 homes short right now of our original goal. So we're going to have a really good year.
So 38 homes short of your complete 2020 goal, sitting at July the 7th. That's what you're saying.
As far as sales go.
Yeah, that's insane. So that's one of the reasons I asked you to participate is on one of the Mondays in the Facebook group, I asked, tell me the good news, because I always like to ask for good news on Mondays. And you wrote in that you'd sold 27 homes in 1 week.
Yeah, and it's fascinating to us because in COVID-19, either our buyer doesn't read the news or doesn't have any money in the stock market or something, because it hadn't slowed them down a bit.
No.
And which kind of brings us to the mindset we've had to shift into quickly. When it happened, nobody knew what's going to happen tomorrow. They're shutting down everything today. And luckily, we were deemed an essential business. And we adapted to that real quick and realized our photography sucks. So we have to go out, and the first thing was take pictures of every inventory home we had, because luckily we had a lot, and accelerated the video tours where we didn't have them, and got the agents what things that they needed. we didn't put them all on the website. We're not going to, because that comes after the level of personalization. But we changed our mindset. We're not here to sell. We're here to service. And that message, I tried a few things differently. And I know that no one on this panel thinks TV advertising works, but during COVID-19, it does, because everybody's sitting at home glued to their TV at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right?
So we did some customer service type messages. You know, I think we're all missing an excellent chance to make this the year of the home. I mean, our homes are our refuge. They're our offices. They're our schools. They're everything about our life this year. It's never happened before. And we've got to take, you know, every chance we can and put that message, whether it's directly or subliminally, into our buyers' minds. Going back to the CRM use, no exceptions. I'll get on that because it was an
Please do.
very unpleasant thing to do at first, but it was really getting hard to have 20 sales and 12 traffic units. You know, when you know multiple prospects didn't buy 2 houses, and somebody's conversion ratio is 140%, it just doesn't add up.
Right.
So we came up with a program that just says any contract that's turned in, if the buyer is not entered in the CRM properly and there's not the entry activity, you don't get paid. Boom, complimentary deal.
Yeah.
And
how long have you been doing that?
18 months ago.
Okay.
And I've only had to do it 3 times.
Okay.
And so word's gotten around. Every now and then there'll be a spelling error and like, okay, prick, why don't you look at the Q instead of the G or something? Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
But, it works okay. The other thing that has helped a lot is everyone has to have ownership. And one of the things that we've done at our company, we teamed up with a local university and their business real estate department, and have some interns, properly licensed agents, and we pay them to cover our agents' days off in an intern program.
Okay.
And anyone they come in contact with, if they register, they will get 50% of the commission if those people buy a home. If that prospect, they could have been in there 20 times, but if they aren't in the CRM, it's a brand new visit and that agent just lost 50% of their commission.
Oh.
So are you going to take a chance on your revisits 2 days a week, popping back in without you getting credit for it? No, you're not.
No, you're not. So what I'm going to do, give me 1 second here. I'm going to put into our chat over here. Sorry, you're seeing me look down. I'm looking at my other monitor, everybody. But I want to put into chat real quick. All right. Go ahead, you guys chime in. What are some of the, I'll call them penalties or rules in place for your CRM? So I want everybody, go ahead, let's see you chat in. What are some of the things? I mean, he's given you 2 ideas right there. So the first one was what, Trey? It was if a contract comes in and the buyer's not in the CRM,
no deal.
No commission. All right. The second one was if the interns who are covering the days off, somebody comes in and doesn't matter if they've talked to them 20 times, if they aren't in CRM and the intern puts them in, they get half of the commission.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Okay. So while y'all, I don't see any, I'm looking, what are some of the rules? What are some of the policies? How are you guys getting this stuff in CRM with regularity? So I'm interested to see, okay. Good one, Kerry. If the CRM process isn't followed with someone who has come in and met with a new home consultant, agent is taken out of that lead rotation for 30 days. That's an interesting idea. Yeah. So did they freak out at first, Trey, when you implemented these things?
Oh, yeah.
Like what? Yeah. Did
Absolutely.
anybody take their excellence elsewhere because they were so
Um,
upset?
no, a few of them grumbled a little bit, but you know, this is a whole nother discussion on the home builders risk
Yeah.
versus the on-site agents risk and reward scenario on how much agents can make an hour in their business. And they're not going to leave that's a situation that they're making money. If someone's
Mm-hmm.
making money and you can give them the whys,
Mm-hmm.
just tell them, do this because I say so, you're not going to get compliance and you're going to get resentment. But if you show them the true whys and
Mm-hmm.
why you're trying to project when their next neighborhood can be ready so they can make money without a downtime transition, uh,
Right?
they're going to understand it and get it. But then when you say, and if you don't do it, I got to do this too, boom,
Yeah.
you're going to
Yeah.
have compliance.
Okay. All right.
And there's
One
also
of,
a
go
third
ahead.
rule too.
Yeah, go ahead.
If that person, being an intern or whoever, um, registers someone and they are in the CRM, but there's been no follow-up activity at all for 30 days, it's an open lead.
Ah, okay. I think that's what Kerry was getting to there. So say that one more time. So if the lead is in the system and there's been no follow-up activity for 30 days,
For
then
the
what?
past 30 days, it's an
Yeah.
open lead that intern can register and claim credit for, or whoever's
Okay.
in that day.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you familiar with, or have you ever played around with kicking the leads back to the OSC for follow-up after 30 days?
You know,
I know some builders do that.
we've been very fortunate to be where we are. And I'll be honest, we're going after the low hanging fruit right now because if we don't get that, it's so much is rotten on the ground in Nashville.
Yes.
So we're not putting any more on the online sales counselor than we
Okay.
have to right now.
Sure.
She's mainly serving as a lead dispatcher and nurturing a lead till we find out where they need to be and then
Yes.
but we can do a whole lot
Yes.
better with the long range on it, and we will, but right now is not the time.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Before we wrap up our discussion, there were a couple points I know you wanted to make about politics, since we're entering the political season, as well as the highly sensitive, as it should be, season that we're in right now of how people perceive what we say and how we act in terms of bias or feeling discriminated against, and we certainly would not want that. So I know that that was a couple of points you wanted to make on those two things, and then I'm gonna bring our panelists in. So get ready, panelists.
Well, it is the year of the home, but it's also the year of hurt feelings. And
yes,
people out there, whether you believe the coronavirus is real or not, there are people that take it seriously, and it is a virus. And we have to respect that. We have to respect the people that come into our model homes and locations wearing a mask, and we have to dignify their action by us reciprocating wearing one as well. Not to get into that, but talk about the political situation. America is so divided right now, and half of our business is Democrats, the other half is Republicans. I can't live without either half.
Right.
So we have a kind of a, shut up policy. We can't tell our agents what to like and what not to like, but we can ask them in the best interest of their income to refrain from political discussion.
And you're referring to social media specifically?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's hurt many companies, and I see it all the time with other builders where an agent will say something, and well, if that's the way you feel, I'll never grace your door again. And we're all bigger than that, but there's a lot of power in making somebody wonder what you're thinking, not letting them know.
Yeah, it's true. And one of the reasons that they are experiencing the kind of sales they are and the conversions that they are is when he and I talked initially about doing this together, I asked them about each of the three parts of the funnel, And you guys have that really locked down. All you're firing across all sections. You've got your website traffic coming in through your marketing. You've got your OSC just really killing it, making appointments. And then some of the things you've been really focusing on today with your new home consultants on their follow-up, them using the CRM, be careful what you say, adapting quickly to COVID. I know you guys did put into place a lot of measures to adapt quickly. And aren't you guys doing appointments primarily right now?
And it works. Yeah. It works so well creating the urgency. The conversion rate's gone up from 22 to 31% across the board. And
okay, say that part again. The conversion rate's done what?
Gone up from 22% to 31 just immediately, which is really good.
By focusing on appointments.
Yes. When the buyer does get in to see their counselor, they're really listening, and they know there's someone sitting in the car waiting for their appointment, and they may buy the house that they're having an opportunity to buy right now. And the urgency is, it's not been threatened, but it's there. If I want to live in a home, I got to make a decision.
Yeah.
And we make it easy for them to make that decision. It is personal. We have to make it personal with our buyers, and our agents have become wonderful at doing that.
And that's really where on number 5, when I was talking about see the human, I mean, that really applies not only to our team members where we're measuring all these numbers about each other, but it also applies obviously to our buyers, our prospects as well, is yes, they are a conversion we're counting, but there's a human there that we really have to speak to their emotions and their wants and needs.
And I'd like to carry the activities one step further to outside of the model home into some of your trade organizations. We've become very active in associations like NAREP, the realtor associations locally and around the areas. And, our agents can be the go-to people. If someone gets a buyer in a car, we want them to be the first one they think of. And the only way to do that is by going out and shake hands. And the other thing, and Kerry will love this one because she harps every time she comes, the most paramount activity anybody can do is a handwritten thank you card. Nobody gets it ever in the mail. And,
right?
We do that, and it's funny because we pay for the postage. And there'll always be an agent that said, well, I just don't feel right turning in my receipts for stamps. I said, there's the one not doing it. But
I left there. I can say that I left there working with them one time, and every single one of them sent me a handwritten note because I had talked about the value of the mailbox just gets bills. How about you send them something different? So they kind of did it to be cute, but now they're really good with it. I got one from everybody. I took pictures and sent it to Trey.
Right.
I like Kevin's comment on the handshakeologist. It's kind of, that's what our online sales counselors are.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But everybody has got to hang in there. Don't overthink it. Sympathize with your buyers. We are in a tough emotional time in the country, and, create your own idea of home and communicate it to others.
Yeah.
We can
perfect.
You're a great guy, Trey. They do a lot for you too. They really do.
They do. So
your people perform for you.
They do. They do a great job.
They do. So feel free, Trey, to keep chiming in on as here. I talked to Angela, Kerry. Now, also remember, you guys get your questions in. I don't see a lot of questions coming in through chat. We definitely want to answer any questions. Doesn't have to be on conversions.
Can I ask them a question?
Please.
We just started using Analytic Owl. Has anybody used that before?
All right. I'm going to put that into the chat box here.
I don't have any experience with it yet. We just started using it 2 weeks ago, and it was with TV and radio to track website traffic at the time that the things air.
There you go. All right. Has anybody used Analytic Owl? No, you're in the shot just a little
You're a
bit.
forerunner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. I haven't
No.
answered your question,
Okay.
right? Yeah. Go ahead, Ange.
No, I was just going to say, Trey, have you noticed an increase? Sure, you have.
I
Yeah.
don't want to say that too loudly, though, because some of our competitors may be in the room.
All right, cool. Well, Angela and Kerry, I asked you guys to prep for today some thoughts on these conversion strategies and kind of what, where did you want to chime in on each one of these? And why don't you start out with kind of your thoughts, especially, with your background, you're really the expert here.
Well, you know what? I thought I'd give it sort of a little bit of a tactical, a real life example about re-engagement. So leads are expensive, and improving conversion rates obviously is important. So something that we work with our clients on is the re-engagement campaigns. We've all got lots of names in the database, but we don't necessarily have updated details. They came into the database 6 months ago or longer, and sort of what is their status now, and they fall off the radar pretty easly. So we've been helping clients with strategies to re-engage that audience and figure out their interest level. So, and I heard both you, Meredith, and Trey, by incorporating emotion and telling a story coupled with a good call to action in your email will drive higher results. So a real life example is we have a client with an older database of about 2,000 names. They're a one-person show, so can't possibly manage all of those people individually. They've been sending out, checking in, follow-up emails, even some marketing emails showcasing some of their communities. So they were getting average results, and average is, 20% open rates. And I always challenge people, go for higher, monitor those open rates and look at how you can always do better. So they were really focused on the low-hanging fruit, which is, that's the right thing to do right now in that scenario. But so how do you reach out effectively to your database as a whole easily? And so for a re-engagement campaign, one of the things we focused on was emotion and connection. So we used a picture, images, a picture says 1,000 words, right, Trey? Trey, that was, and that struck a chord with people. In this case, it was a picture of a super cute dog. And the message in the email told them that they, that they miss them and asked them if they still want to be connected. So they were asking a question, which is key. And, the format of the email, and I always preach this, it needs to be simple. It was an image, some text, and a clear call to action. Well, they got a 35% open rate. Wow. So they went from, and this is people who were not engaged. They had an 8% click rate. So this is something, going back to Meredith, know your numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
They sent it out again to everyone who hadn't opened it the first time. That's my little trick always. They included a personal sounding message. And they got another 25% open rate. So with a 6% click rate. So that was over 50%. So, remember, it was a list of about 2,000 names. They got 1,000 people opening it. Yes, they got unsubscribes, but you know what? That's a good thing. You know where people are at. You're not going to send them email anymore. So, the best part was they got over 200 people who actually clicked the link that they wanted them to. So there was a really clear call to action, and it then gave the salesperson a good manageable list of people to continue the conversation and create new opportunities. So, for all you Seinfeld fans out there, from the immortal words of, was it Banya? It's gold, Jerry Gold, right?
Gold, it's gold, Jerry. It's gold.
So, you know what? There is gold in there, but by strategically, incorporating email to wake them up, and it gives your sales team something to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So that, those types of tactics, and it just frees up opportunity for the salespeople. It allows marketing, again, going back to, sort of marketing, looking after those older stale leads that sales aren't working.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Oh my word, I was just going to say stale. What are you doing taking my words, Angela?
Yeah. So Kerry, what are your thoughts on these 5 conversion secrets? You know, because you and I team up on a lot of accounts together where I'm marketing and you're sales, so to speak. And yeah, I mean, these are the things we've been seeing in real life, right?
Correct. You know, real life, real time. I think that's really what our success quotient is that when you and I are working with people, we keep in mind both of those things. It's someone's real life that you're following up on or checking in on and in real time. But when I picked 5, the human side, because everybody knows that I'm the human side of life. And so I kind of thought, what is that magic sauce? And big on alliteration and letters. So I have 3 R's that I realized that I downloaded from myself: review, reply, and relate. So what I like about the human side of it, and those that were on our builder tech, when I talked about emotional, the emotional side of digital, is that people sometimes are too quick because it's a task to follow up, and they just do it as a task. And they haven't spent the time to review the notes and then respond. And while they're responding, relate to what they reviewed. Because it all kind of goes down to the 6 degrees of separation. What is your job when you're going in your database to bring someone alive again? To lessen the degrees of separation, because for some people it's been separated for months and years, and the best way to do it is to review your notes. But I also think that when we talk about that, and I have a couple notes, so I'm going to follow up real quickly on some notes, because I know you like tangible, tactical takeaways, right, Meredith?
I do.
So when you see, so what does your current data tell you? And what does your daily data tell you? Your current data is your CRM, but your daily data is equally as important to the people that are coming in. It's going to be the blend of what you're reading and what you're seeing. And whether you're reading it or you're seeing them, there's a message. That's really the key. Everybody has a message, kind of a meta message sometimes. They try and trick us and make us try and read their minds and figure out what's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really do review your notes and realize those things, they're all there. So I like, when I'm calling older clients or whatever it is, I like to talk back to them like they're talking to me.
Okay.
And how do you do that? Is that you figure out things about them, patterns about them, like what's your icebreaker? What time are they online? What time are messages coming into you? What's the frequency like? You know, I wish I had all the time that you had, because man, you've been on that website for like hours. You know, be funny. It's okay. A little stalkish. But Angela, we're into stock, right? A little bit.
A little bit. We always say be cute, don't be creepy.
That's right.
Exactly.
And there is a fine line. And if you're not sure the difference between cute and creepy, what's that show on Netflix? What's the show on Netflix that's like where he's stalking the girl? I think it's You.
I don't know.
That's
I
creepy.
don't know that one.
That's super creepy. Somebody put in the chat, but I'm pretty sure that's the one. It's You. That's creepy. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
But cute, Kerry, to your point.
Yeah,
Cute is good.
And I think that when you add that little bit of humor and you talk back to them like they talk to you, understand how they talk to you might just be online. That's still a conversation, everybody. That's a human being that's having a conversation with you. So they're not a robot. Don't respond back. And then just like we talked about before, is for the sales managers that are out there, and Trey, you are good with this, but my real takeaway tip from the sales managers and the builders that I know right now are one-on-one meetings or one-on-one calls. Talk, and it's not accountability like going to the principal's office were you on there? You know, what's your conversion rate? What's your click rate? It's let's just talk about and shift some people around. You want salespeople with A's and you want them with B's to move to A's. If you've got C's, get them somewhere where they're going to get nurtured and taken care of, and get your campaigns
like
that
that.
we talked about. And all that is just treating human beings like human beings.
I love it. Paul wrote in lead conversion hour. I like that. So yeah, like, you know, but these, when I say 5 secrets to maximizing conversions, part of this is having conversations about these conversions, right? But what I want you to converse about, just to be clear, is about, again, the people behind the numbers. So in that weekly meeting, Kerry, you know, or bi-weekly, or however you're doing it, you're going through, talk to me about your A's. Tell me about these people. What's happening here? How do we move them? Right. Right. What's the story? Right.
And when you do that, all of a sudden, you know, we all need help remembering. I mean, crap, you two don't even tell these people how many times you have to be my memory. I'm like, Angela, I just forgot. Well, Trey, don't you be laughing either. You lost your memory too. But help have these conversations about this data, whether it's the, you know, talking data, which are your statistics, or your walking data, which is what comes in your model. They're like, oh yeah, I remember that they want this. And the behavior will get the conversion. It just will.
It just will. And that's, you know, for so many years, we as an industry have been overly focused on lead source and trying to get to a one-to-one ratio of marketing source to lead to sale, which is not even possible in the digital world we live in. But that's what we've tracked. And so when I say know your numbers, my concern was that was what people would go back to tracking. And that's why, and that's why I was really wanting to show you that whole list of numbers that I came up with today, just quickly. And I had more, but the Zoom polling feature cut me off at that many multiple choice options.
Overachiever.
I know. So I think what I'll do is, again, if you haven't participated in the Facebook group, we really need you to do that. Here, I'll share it one more time. It's right here. I will start a conversation, discussion, and a poll question tomorrow. And let's get a conversation going about what numbers you're tracking, what are the most important. I'll get these polls up and posted there. Let's get some more people collaborating and working together so that we can really figure out what we should be tracking. I know Angela was just, and Dave at ECI Lasso were just sharing with me the other day these amazing advanced Google Data Studio reports that you guys have going. That are so powerful. I was blown away at those, what they can do.
I also, from that data, that I will say that I think has been life-changing for some salespeople, when you involve them on the business side of things, understanding those analytics and data are not secret, top secret knowledge. When salespeople understand and see what's happening, Meredith and I just did a call this week that it was just last week. It kind of ended up being like, holy crap, we got our work cut out for us. The salespeople were, because they were so enlightened by the numbers that they were seeing. So making numbers be real time is real helpful.
Yeah, I mean, that's that whole idea that you and I presented on, Kerry, at the Builder Show of smarketing. Sales plus marketing, where we really integrate the two disciplines. And a lot of that integration really is the sharing of data. And once we understand how much is coming in, that a particular community's website traffic to their specific page is up 30%, that lead conversions and appointments are up 20%, but there's zero sales, Trey, that starts to get, we start to go, what's happening here, right? Yeah. Trey, anything you want to jump in on these, as we kind of start to wrap up our panel discussion here? Anything on
Yes,
the conversions?
It's more geared towards the builder risk and the builder liability.
Okay.
Because with COVID-19, every home we sell has the potential of becoming an inventory home. And at some point in time, you have to put your builder hat on and look at the risk of building that home without a certain option. Will you be able to sell it when that person gets laid off? And if, you have to start thinking that way. Do you require an extra deposit if they build the home a way you would not be able to sell it otherwise? You have to start thinking defensively. We're scared to death right now in Nashville because we're a hospitality industry town.
Mm-hmm.
And our mayor just pulled us back into phase 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we just had people go back to work and getting their employment verifications that are being laid off today, I'm assuming. I don't know how many that'll affect, but we have not been affected as much as we thought we would.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? And so at some point in time, we have to think it's not all about the sale. It's about meeting the expectation of the builder and the buyer.
Mm-hmm.
And let them know that their cabinet selection may not be available. This is uncharted ground, and they get to experience that with us. And so when I call and tell you that your granite came in looking a different color, come on out and let's get through it.
Yeah.
But managing the expectations is something that we really have to do a much better job of right now than any other time I can remember in the 20 years I've been doing it.
So I've launched a poll here, an interesting of the 5 things that I talked about today. Where do you need to focus? Where do you need to improve? Again, it's anonymous. I can't see who submits what. So please be real and vote. Let's see where we land. That's going to help me shape some of our material for next month. So wherever kind of our top 2 vote getters are, that's where we'll dig in and get even more detailed and meaty for next month. So while you're doing that, a couple of thoughts for you. The reason I'm so focused on conversions right now is because as we round the corner into summer, we are seeing cases increase. Don't know yet if that's going to mean hospitalizations increase and other negative numbers increase. Hopefully it does not. But we don't know. You're right, Trey. We are in very uncharted territory right now. But what I will tell you, I know, is every 4 years we have a presidential election. And as we round the summer and into 3rd quarter, we will have, those of us in the United States, Angela, you get to escape the hell and the hellhole that is our national election. We are going to have a national election. In the past, and this is something I was talking about at the Builder Show this year, wanting people to know their numbers to plan for 3rd and 4th quarter, having no idea that a worldwide pandemic was about to break out. But traditionally, in a 4-year cycle, we see a real decline in top of funnel, which then affects all the rest of the funnel. As the country goes to war, basically, voting, half of the country is despondent, discouraged, devastated that their person did not win. Depending, and this is not a political statement, but it is a reality that the stock market and businesses, Wall Street, they view some candidates more pro-business and favorable to the economy than other candidates. And that has an impact. So all of this begins to impact consumer confidence. And typically, 3rd, 4th quarter of a 4-year election cycle is very flat, very flat. maybe this pandemic push of I need a new home, get me out of here, will overcome and compensate for that. And it won't be flat. Maybe it will be. I don't know. But what I do know is right now, you have enough traffic. It is so up over what you normally got, 30, 40, 50, 60% over. You've got enough right now that if you button up starting today, tomorrow, you get on your conversions and get on those follow-up behaviors and lock down and bulletproof that OSC program. You've got enough right now to get you where you need to be this year. I really believe that. Most of you do. If you don't, then let's get on it quickly and get some more traffic and leads in at the top of the funnel before we get to third quarter. And then, I don't know, it's the wild, wild west. I don't know what's going to happen. And none of us really do. And so things are changing more and faster than they ever have. So we've got to take what we've got and we've got to work it to its fullest extent and be cute and not creepy, right, Kerry?
Right.
Right. So it looks like number 2, Kerry, manage activities.
Yep.
Not conversions was number 2. And then number 3, bulletproof your OSC. So if it works for everybody, what we could do August 4th is we will dig further into number 2 and number 3. If you feel like you're really strong on those and you'd be interested in sharing your secrets, then contact me. And I will almost every time we do this always feature somebody from the field. And because I really do want to broaden the platform and showcase other people. So thank you, Trey, for being our interview field from the interview. Thank you, Kerry. Thank you, Angela. We'll get some of these conversations going in the Facebook group. We'll get this video posted there as soon as possible. And if you were one of the people that wanted to help me moderate and contribute content and really make our Facebook group great, please get back in contact with me. I would love to talk to you and get that going. Okay? All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and let's go sell some houses. See ya.